Okay, we are now being sponsored by the Fisher family. Lilinish Spasi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We also are learning Lilinish Mas David ben Chaim, Schus of Avram Yom Benish ben Malki Yudis, and Lefush Shlomo for Yomis ben Chayesara, and Yaakov ben Bas Yaleah. We're also sponsored by Yoel Klugman and family for their Panos Gzunta Nachas. We also learned the Refuah Shlema from Shmeir ben Esther Fradel, the Refuah Shlema for Avigdor Aye ben Rivka, Hinda bas Chayesara, Chana bas Shashabina, Rivka bas Shira Leah, and Meir ben Chayesara. They should have a Refuah Shlema b'Seit Sharcha Yisrael. We continue the sage advice of Rabbi Akiva in the 16th Mishna in the 3rd parak. Hu haya omer? He would say that Hakol Nosan Be'eravon, everyone has collateral taken from them if they sin. What's the collateral? Our legs. Because if we sin, Hashem will cause our legs to take us to where there'll be retribution. And don't think you could escape, because Umitzuda Prusa al Kol HaChaim, there's a net under all those that are alive to collect the debts of sin. Now, this world is a land of opportunity. A person could sin 24/7. Hachanus Psucha, the amusement park of earth, the store is open. And not only that, V'achen v'nimakif, Hashem takes plastic. The grocer, the storekeeper, takes credit. So a person could sin. But v'apinkis pasuach, the ledger is open, v'yod kaseves, and the hand writes down all crimes. The color writes a little bit, whoever wants to dip in, the mall of sin is open 24/7. But v'agaboyim ma'zirin toder b'chol yom, the collectors go around every day. Now this is a Rachmanis, mercy, that Hashem doesn't collect it all in one shot, because then it would be a wipeout blow. Hashem collects little by little. There's a headache here. Hashem collects little by little. Now, v'nifram min adam midaitai, he collects from a person, whether the person realizes. He gets canker sores and he says, "Oh, I spoke lashon hara." He realizes it. V'shalei midaitai, or the person doesn't remember already his crime. But the Rebbeinu Shalom remembers, Zoicher kol hanishkachos. Hashem remembers everything that's forgotten. V'yesh lem al ma'aseh yismeichu, the collectors have what to rely on, because everything was written down. V'adin din emes, and the judgment is completely true. Nobody gets shortchanged. Now Hashem cleanses people, v'akol mesukim l'suda, so that everybody should be prepared to enjoy the banquet in the next world. The next Mishnah tells us from the great Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who became Nasi, and then had a partnership, Nasias. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Omer, im ein Torah, ein derech eretz. If you don't learn Torah, you don't know how to be a mensch. You might think you know how to be a mensch, because you look at the societal norms, but without Torah, you can't be a mensch. You know, on talk radio, they might embarrass someone in front of thousands of people. But the Torah tells us, Torah tells us you have to judge people favorably. Torah tells us you have to be charitable. Torah tells us you have to help out. So if you don't have Torah, you can't be a mensch. On the other hand, if you don't work on being a mensch, ain't Torah. You'll never truly be able to be a receptacle for Torah. That's what it says. Na'aseh v'nishma. You have to first do, and only then are you a vessel that can listen to Hashem's Torah. Right? Derech eretz kodma laTorah. We have to teach our children to be mentioned, our grandchildren. Ein chochma, ein yira. If there's no wisdom, there can't be fear of Hashem. Because ein bur yirei chet, an ignoramus can't be sin-fearing. You could have all the best intentions, but if you don't know the halachas, how could you be sin-fearing? On the other hand, im ein yira ein chachma. If there's no fear, then there can't be true wisdom. Like we said, kol sheyir asay kedemes l'chachmasay. If fear precedes his wisdom, in other words, he learns because he's afraid to sin, that chachma endures. Otherwise, it's not going to endure. Now, bina means to be maven davar mitoch davar, to make inferences, to make applications. Im ein bina, if a person doesn't know how to apply what they learned, then ein das, there's no true knowledge. You have to be able to take what you learned and apply it, to infer to situations. On the other hand, im ein das, if you don't have the raw knowledge, then ein bina, all the inferences are not going to help you. Im ein kemach, if you don't have flour, if you don't eat properly, or you don't have what to eat, ein Torah. Person needs the strength to eat. In our yeshiva, Ramosha was very, very makbid that the food should be good, top of the line. Because without kemach, without eating properly, there's not going to be Torah. On the other hand, im ein Torah, if there's no Torah, Hashem gives a blessing of parnasa because of Torah. Im ein Torah and kemach, there's not going to be food. Hu haya omer? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, Kol shechach masay meruba memasav. If somebody's wisdom is more than his deeds, he doesn't walk the talk. No, it says, V'kala am royem es hakolos. The nation saw the voices at Arsina. How do you see voices? So the Darshanim say that it's important that what we say to our children, to our grandchildren, they have to see our voice in our behavior. We have to walk the talk. Kol shechach masay meruba mamasav. His wisdom is more than his action. Right? He's theoretical, but he doesn't practice what he preaches. Lamahu daima. What's he like? Le'ilan sha'anaf of merubin. It's like a tree that has a lot of branches. On the outside, it looks very nice. It has beautiful foliage, even fruit. But v'shirashim mu'atin, down in the ground, it has very few roots. V'aruach bava akartoi, one time, a very big storm will come and uproot it, v'ifactoi alpana, and turn it upside down on its face. Shenema v'hoya ka'arar ba'arav, it'll be like a lone tree in the plain. V'lo yira ki yavoi tov, it won't survive to see when good comes. V'shachein chareirim b'midbar, it dwells in the dry lands of the desert, Eretz Malecha B'lo Yisation, a salty land with no inhabitants. Aval kol shemaisav merubim mechachmasai, we continue the eloquent imagery, one whose deeds are more than their wisdom. In other words, they might not have that much wisdom, but they practice what they learn over and over again. Lomau daima le'ilan shanof of muatin. Its branches might be few, but the sharash of merubin, its roots are very, very numerous under the ground. Shafilu kol harucha sheba'olam ba'is v'noishim spai, even if all the winds of the world come and blow at it, ein mazizin oisai mimekayma, it doesn't budge it from its place. Shenam avahoya ke'eit shasal al mayim, it's like a tree planted on the water. Val yuva yishalach shashav, on its banks it extends out many roots. V'lo yira ki yavoi chaim, it won't be afraid when heat comes. V'yaleu ranon, its leaves will constantly be moist. Ubishnas batzaris lo yidag, it won't worry about famine. V'lo yomish me'asois peri, it will never stop from producing fruit. I want to say to my Mishna Yomis listeners that this week the Daf Yomi starting Sunday is at 8:55. We look forward to you joining us at zoomdaf.com with meaning code all capitals RMMW, Rabbi Moshe Meir Weiss, all caps. We are looking for a sponsor for Bahaloischa. We didn't have the sponsor for Nassau until the day of the shir. So please, somebody step forward. It's $360 to sponsor a worldwide shir that's heard on TorahAnytime.com, on Kalaloshin, on YouTube, on Torah Communications Network, by Zoomers, subscribers. 718-916-3100. You can text 718-916-3100 or email to rmmwsi, Rabbi Moshe Meir, Staten Island, at AOL.com. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for an amazing evening of Torah, and have a good Tavach.